At the party, my son's wife shoved a cake in my face, saying, "Here's your piece, beggar." I never imagined humiliation could have a flavor, sweet vanilla cream, mixed with shame, but on that night it did. My name is Margaret Hill, and the story begins at my son's 30th birthday celebration. The house was bright with gold balloons, loud music, and chatter. My son, Daniel, had worked hard to build a good life. He had a beautiful house, a stable job, and what I thought was a loving wife, Samantha. I had arrived quietly, with a little gift box wrapped in blue. Inside was a vintage watch that belonged to Daniel's late father, my only treasure. As I stepped in, Samantha eyed me from head to toe. She whispered something to her friends, and they giggled. I ignored it. I was used to her coldness, but I never expected what was coming. The cake scene. When it was time to cut the cake, everyone gathered around Daniel. The cake was huge, 3 tiers decorated with gold dust and berries. "Mom, come closer," Daniel motioned. Before I could reach him, Samantha grabbed a large slice of cake from the table. She walked toward me slowly, a strange grin on her face. "Here," she said loudly so everyone could hear. "This is the only thing you're good for, taking handouts. Here's your piece, beggar." Before I could react, she smashed the cake into my face. The room exploded with laughter. Some people were shocked, others froze, but a few laughed openly, encouraged by Samantha's wicked smile. I didn't move. I just stood there with cream dripping from my chin, my heart pounding so loudly it drowned out the music. In that moment, one thought rang in my mind. Respect doesn't come from blood. It comes from character. Daniel's reaction. Daniel's face went pale. He rushed to me, grabbing tissues, wiping my face with shaking hands. "Mom, I'm so sorry. I didn't know she would—" But Samantha interrupted with an eye roll. "Oh, please, she acts so fragile. It was just a joke." "It wasn't a joke," Daniel said, his voice trembling with anger I'd never heard before. "That was cruel." She laughed. "Cruel? She's always acting pitiful, trying to make you feel guilty. She should be grateful she's even allowed into this house." My chest tightened. Daniel stood up abruptly. "Don't talk about my mother like that." "Oh, come on," she snapped. "You pay her rent, you pay her bills." I cut her off softly. "Daniel doesn't pay my bills." I never asked him for a cent. That made the room fall into a sudden, heavy silence. The truth comes out. I opened the small gift box and handed it to Daniel. He looked confused. "This was your father's," I said. "He wanted you to have it when you turned 30. I've kept it safe for 20 years. Daniel's eyes softened, but Samantha scoffed loudly. "Oh, please, look at that, an old rusty watch. What do you want in return, Margaret?" "Sympathy?" Her words sliced through the air. Before Daniel could speak, I took a deep breath. "You see me as a burden, Samantha. But what you don't know is that I've been helping in my own ways." "What do you mean?" she asked, folding her arms. I looked around the room at the silent guests. "I paid the down payment for this house." A gasp rippled through the crowd. Daniel stared at me. "Mom, what? Why didn't you tell me?" "Because," I whispered, "real love helps quietly." Samantha's eyes widened. You paid? That can't be true." "It's true," I said calmly. "The banker can confirm it. I sold my late husband's land to help you two start a life." Suddenly, the woman who called me a beggar looked like someone who had just lost everything. The consequences. Daniel stood tall, his jaw clenched. "Samantha," he said quietly, "my mother gave us everything she had, and you repaid her with humiliation." "It was a joke," she insisted, her voice cracking. "No," Daniel said firmly, "it was who you truly are." He walked toward the door. "Mom, we're leaving." "Daniel, please," Samantha cried, grabbing his arm. He pulled away. "A marriage without respect is a prison," Daniel said coldly. At home. Daniel drove me home silently. When we entered my small living room, he sat beside me on the couch and held my hands. "Mom, I'm so sorry. I should have seen it before." "You loved her," I said gently. "Love makes us blind." He shook his head. "But not anymore." He looked at the watch in his hands, his eyes glistening. "I promise you," he said, "no one will ever disrespect you again, not while I'm alive." Aftermath. The next morning, Samantha came to my door, eyes swollen. She tried to apologize, but Daniel didn't let her in. "She disrespected the one person who sacrificed everything for me," he said. "That's something I can't forgive," Samantha pleaded, but Daniel remained firm. A week later, he filed for divorce. The lesson. Sometimes life teaches through pain. Blood makes you related. Respect makes you family. Kindness is quiet. Cruelty is loud. Never mistake a silent heart for a weak one. And above all, a person who humiliates you publicly has no place in your private life. Daniel and I moved on, rebuilding our lives with peace and dignity. And every time he looks at his father's watch, he says, "Mom, thank you for everything you do."